Hello friends from all over the internet. If you are watching this video, then congratulations. You are seeing the best personal portfolio in React in terms of design, responsiveness, animations, code style and many more. But before starting the tutorial, let's see what we will be learning in this video. So you will learn how to build a React project from scratch. We will use use state hooks of React in this project. To make the dark and the light theme of the personal portfolio, we will use the use context hook. For the beautiful icons, we are going to use icon scout library, which is a famous one. And for the awesome animations, we're gonna use framer motion. And you may notice that the scroll was very smooth. So for this purpose, we're gonna use React scroll library. And of course, for the responsive design, we will use elegant and responsive CSS3. We will also use React Email.js library to make contact. And further, the slides will be made of Swiper.js library. In the end, we will deploy our website. Don't worry, it's very beginner friendly. Even if you have not too much experience in the React, still it will suit your capabilities. So until I roll the intro of channel, let's subscribe, like and share this video. So here I am in the Visual Studio with a blank directory. So I am opening the terminal, and mostly when we start a React project, we write npm create react app like this. But it installs too much extra stuff that we never gonna use. So to avoid this problem, I have a link for you. Just go to this link of GitHub repository. I have made this for you with the name portfolio starter. Just copy the link and in your terminal, instead of this, write git clone and then paste the link and hit the enter button. Okay, our repository has been cloned, so I am going to its directory here. Okay, but you notice one thing, there is no npm module to run this project. So to add these modules, just write yarn and hit the enter button. By the way, we are going to build this complete project with the help of yarn instead of npm, because I think probably yarn is faster than the npm and it suits my requirements. So therefore we're gonna use yarn. Okay, as you see, our dependencies have been installed completely. So now we have the node modules here. Further, just write yarn start. It will start our project. Okay, so here our project has been started with the text subscribe ZAINKEEPSCODE. Yeah, I know you should subscribe the channel because it will help me a lot. For further, in the repository, I have made two folders, image and the fonts. In the image folder, we have all the images that we are going to use throughout this beautiful project. And in the font section, I have a Gomela regular OTF file. We're gonna use this gomelaregular.otf font file throughout our project. By the way, if we have a look inside app.css, these properties will come along the repository clone. Basically, these are the variables that I have made to make our development easy. I have made a yellow variable with this color and similarly orange, black, gray. And for further, I have given our project some padding and overflow hidden because it's an of course property, and the color of the text throughout the project is black. It's not a pure black. It is this variable that I have assigned here. Okay, now to use this font gomelaregular.otf, I am going to index.html inside our public folder. Here, below this meta tag, I am declaring some style like this, and I am writing at font face This is a basic method to use a local font in our project. So I am writing font family Gumela, and then its source is URL, and outside this directory inside src and fonts, and then all files. Basically we can have a mistake in its spelling, so I am just writing static, so it will auto take this file. Now for all classes throughout our project, I am going to use font family of this Gumela, and the font weight by default will be normal. For further, the font size throughout the project will be 20 pixels. Okay, we know that the React project has some margin around its body. So to remove this, I am just going body, and then margin should be 0. Like this. Let's save. And now to see the effects, I am just clearing this text and writing I am here with new settings. Okay, let's see. Here you can see our Gumela font family has been installed successfully. So now we can start our project. So inside the src folder, I am making a new folder named components, and inside the component I am making the first component Navbar. Inside the Navbar folder, we will further have two files, navbar.jsx for the body and navbar.css for the styling. Okay, let's start with the navbar.jsx. First of all, I will write RFCE. Let's make the font bigger. Okay, so first of all, I am just removing this pre-built text and making a wrapper for our navbar. Okay, let's have a look at the pre-built version of the portfolio. So here you can see our navbar have two sides. First is the left side and the right side. In the left side we have the name Andrew and a toggle button, and on the right side we have the list of items, home, services and many more, and further we have a contact button. Now I am going to make these two left and right side. So first of all, let's make the left side and similarly the right side. Okay, in the left side we have the name, so just call it as the name, or more specifically n/name. N is representing the navbar component, and here I have the Andrew. Now after this we have a toggle button, but let's leave this for now and just write inside the span the toggle. Okay, for the right side I have a list, so for list I am making a div and list, and inside this I am making an unordered list like this. Let's make its items. So first item will be home, and similarly the other item will be the services, and further if we have a look we have experience, portfolio, testimonials. So experience, portfolio, and finally the testimonials like this. After these items we have our button, so let's make this, and I am giving it a class name of button. Okay, now inside the button I have the text contact us. Now to see the results we have to import the navbar.jsx in app.js. So just remove this text, and here I am calling the navbar component with auto suggestion like this. Okay, now let's see. Here you can see we have all the text and list and the button. Now let's style this. To style this we will use navbar.css, and I am opening it side by side. Now go to the navbar.jsx here, and first of all I should import its CSS like navbar.css. The single dot means it is present in the same directory. So let's start the styling. First of all, I am calling the most parent class nWrapper, and for this I am giving a height of 10 VH, and then its display should be flex, and the justify content may be space between, because we need some space between the left and right div, so it should be space between. Now let's see. Okay, here we have space between the left and right side, and it's time to style each side individually. So first of all, let's cover the left side. Okay, for the left side I am giving the flex of 1, so it will take an equal width, and then align item center, and to use the property align item centers I am making its display flex. Now the gap between the items of this flex box should be 2 rem. Let's see. Okay, here we have, but here I just noticed one thing, that the padding is not correct. So let's see what's the problem. Okay, if I see in the app.js, I am not calling its CSS file. So let's just import its file app.css like this, and now let's see. Okay, now we have the correct padding, but we are not seeing the complete list because we have specified the height to 10 VH. So we should make this in the row direction. So before going to further style this, let's first finish the left side. Okay, on the left side, first of all I am styling the name, and for the name I am using the font size of 1.3 rem, and its font weight should be bold because it's the name. Now let's see. Okay, here we have the correct styling. It's time to style this because we have left the toggle for now. For the right side, I am again making its display flex, and the flex length will be the flex width. So basically the right and left side will take equal width of 50% because both have the flex 1. And then the align items at the center, and the justify content at the center, and the font weight of 400, which is the regular font weight. Okay, let's see. Here we have both the items in the center, but wait, we have to make the list in the row direction. So for the list, here I am making its flex value of 10, so it will take more width, and then inside the list div I have the unordered list. So for the unordered list I am making it as display flex, and the gap between the items should be 2 rem. Now the margin right is of 4 rem. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking good. For further, I want whenever the cursor moves on a list item, it should be the pointer. So to achieve this effect, inside the n list, where is the unordered list, and on hover this list, the cursor should be pointer like this, and moreover, let's change the color. So I am specifying the text color of our variable orange that we have declared in the app.css just here. You can see this orange color here. Okay, now let's see the results. You can see when I hover the item, its color is changing, but the problem is that all items are changing the color at the same time. Let's fix this. I will go to the navbar.css, or here instead of targeting the unordered list, I will target the each li. Let's save and see. Now you can see only each item is showing the hover effect and the color change. Now this time to remove these dots. So to remove these dots, inside navbar.jsx, here just write the ul. I am writing some style like this, list style type, and it should be none. So let's see. Here you can see the results. No further dots in the navbar. So it's time to style the Contact Us button. Let's move. As we know that we are going to use too many buttons in our portfolio, so instead of define styling for button in navbar.css, I will open the app.css. Here I am opening app.css, and now for the general button class, border radius of 34 pixels and the border should be none because we don't want any outline around the buttons, and the color inside the button should be white, and the font size of 16 pixels will be good, and for the padding let's say 10 pixels for each side. Now let's see. Here we have the button, but its color is not very good. So here I am pasting some beautiful colors with the shadow effect like this. I have just made these colors by playing around many colors, and you can also achieve the same effect. Okay, now let's see what's the output. Here you can see this is the output, but because our view height is only 10%, therefore we are seeing this boundary in the shadow. To fix this, let's play with the padding. Okay, if I achieve padding for each side manually like 26 pixels, 11 pixels and then again 26 pixels. Okay, now you can see our button is better than the previous one, but we should not change the general main style of our theme. Okay, it is just enough. Now for the navbar.jsx, I am here writing another class nButton, which is the navbar button, and then inside the navbar.css I am declaring this class. For the nButton, I am making its flex value of 2. Let's see. Okay, it's looking good now, but the main thing is that still it don't have the hover effect. So to include the hover effect, I am again going to app.css, and I should move this to the right side because CSS should be on the right side. And now I am saying where there is the button on hover, the background should be white on hover, and the cursor will be like the pointer, and then I am giving it the color of orange like this. This is basically the text color orange on hover. Let's see the results here, but we also want the boundary on hover. So for the boundary, I am making the border of 1 pixel solid with the color orange like this. Now it will look good. Yes, you can see that it's looking too much good. I think so that our navbar is completed. Let's move to the intro section. Inside the src and inside the components, I am making a new folder for the intro section. Inside the intro section, I am making a JSX file for the intro like this, and then another file for the CSS like this. Let's close the extra files. Okay, the app.css should be here because we need for the reference. Okay, now let's start the intro section. RFCE. For the fatter function, I am removing the default text and then making my own div with the name intro. Okay, as we have seen in our developed version, we have again two sections, the left side and the right side. In the left side we have the name and the hire me button and these media icons. Okay, and then on the right side we have this hero image and the emojis and these some achievements. Okay, so first of all, let's make the left and right side. I left means intro left, and I should make this. Okay, I should bigger the text. Okay, and similarly make the right side. Now let's start from the left side. First of all, inside the left side I have the div for the name, so I am saying name like this, and then inside the span, hi, I am Andrew. The text we have in the developed version. Okay, so here we see hi, I am and the Andrew Thomas are the two individual texts because they have different colors, means we have to do different styling for them. Therefore I am just removing this from here and make the M like this, and for the Andrew I am making an other span with the Andrew Thomas. After this I have an other span, just the basic intro, and here I am writing this text. I should make the text smaller and I am opening the word wrap so all text will be visible. Okay, the text is front end developer with the high level experience and such more. Okay, after this in the left side we have a button which says hire me. Okay, I am saying is at intro button, and inside this I am writing the hire me text. Okay, so let's see the results. Okay, as we see we have no results because we forget to add the intro.jsx in app.js. So I should open app.js side by side, and below the navbar I am calling the intro like this. Let's save and now see. Okay, here we have the name and the text and then the hire me button. That's fine. Okay, we can give the button the class of app.css button which we have made in the previous section. You can see this is enough and our button is ready. So we can take advantage of our app.css.button class. Here we have defined all the properties. So let's first style the left side, and for this here inside the intro.css I am writing the intro class, and it will be display flex and its height will be like 77 vh and its margin top of 6 rem will be enough. Okay, now after this we have our of course left side, and for this I am writing the left side and it should be the display flex with the position relative. Okay, and after this we have this the flex value of 1, so both the left and right side will take the equal width. After this, first see the results. Okay, we have to import the css, so in the same directory I have intro.css. now let's see the results. Here as we have made it the display flex, so it has aligned itself in the row direction and we have nothing in the right side, so it takes the whole width. Let's first make the right side some text as I am right side, and also making the right side as flex 1. So first of all we get out of this problem. Okay, so I should save this also. Okay, now we have the clear idea. This is the right side and this is the left side. It's time to fix all this stuff here. So I should move it to the lower side, and now so I am giving it the flex direction of column, so everything will align itself in the column direction like this. And now it's time to first of all style the name. Okay, so for the name I am making it display flex and then the flex direction of column. Let's see, as you can see we have the name in the column direction, first hi I am and then the Andrew Thomas. Let's make it bigger. I think so that's enough. Okay, first of all we have to style hi I am. So for this I am targeting the first child of I name and it should be 1 like this. Okay, and I am making its color our variable black, and after this its font weight should be bold. Okay, so the only thing we can do is to give it a handsome font size, and I am giving it as the 3 rem. Now let's see, here you can see we have very beautiful text hi I am. Okay, so now let's move to the second child which is the Andrew Thomas. As you can see here, hi I am is the first child which we have target here, and now it's Andrew Thomas which we are going to target. So for the I name and then nth child of 2. Okay, I am giving it a color of orange like this, and then giving it a font weight of bold. Okay, after giving the font weight, okay, after this is font size should also be 3 rem. So let's see. Yeah, it's looking very good. So now it's time to style this text. Okay, so you can see we are going step by step, so it's become easy to follow. Okay, so I am targeting the third child like this and making its font weight of 100. So it will be very light text, and its font size should be almost 14 pixels will be enough. And with the color of our variable black, I think so instead of black we should make it the gray color. Let's see. Yeah, gray is looking good. But we also want some distance between the Andrew Thomas and this text, so I am giving it the margin top, and margin top of 10 pixels will be right. Yeah, this distance is looking very fine. Now it's time to style the button. So first of all, for the button, I button, as you can see, I have to give here the I button class with the button class. So the button class will take the styling from app.css, and I button will take the styling from the intro.css. So I think you understand this, and I am giving it a width of 6 rem like this and the height of 2 rem. Just to check, is it good? Yeah, it's fine for us. But still we want some distance between this intro text and the higher button, and it's not the right technique to give the margin top to every element. So let's see what I am going to do. Here in the left side, I am giving a gap of 2 rem to every element. Now see, it's looking good because every element will have a 2 rem distance, because this is the one element and this whole is an other element. So it's looking very good now. And now if we look at our pre-built version, here we have some PNGs of Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course the GitHub. So I am importing these images from the image section inside the SRC. You can see here I have the GitHub PNG and all the other stuff, so I am going to use them. So first of all, let's import them. I am importing the GitHub, okay, and giving it a directory of image, and inside the image I am targeting the github.png, and similarly I am importing the LinkedIn icon from image section. Let's just import them like this, and similarly I am going to import the Instagram icon. Okay, here you can see I have imported the Instagram icon, and I should make it bigger. Okay, below the buttons we have these PNGs. So for the PNGs I am making an other div with the name intro icons like this, and inside the intro icons I am making an image tag and deleting its pre-built source blank and importing the curly braces, and now writing the GitHub, the component we have imported, and just pasting this 3 times. And for the LinkedIn I am simply writing the LinkedIn and then the Instagram. Okay, let's see. Here we have these PNGs, but yeah, of course we have to style them. So inside the intro.css, and here just below the buttons, I am making styling for eye icons, and first of all giving it a margin top of 3 rem. Okay, let's say for now, and then giving it the display flex, and the gap between the icons should be 0 rem. Okay, yeah, now they are in the display flex div. Okay, so the next thing I want to say that inside the eye icons, all images, okay, this is targeting the all images inside the eye intro icons div. I want to transform them and scale them to the half of their current size. Okay, yes, now you can see now they are half of their sizes, so they are looking good. And after this I also want to declare that on every element inside eye icons on hover, the cursor will be like the pointer. Okay, so now you can see our cursor is becoming pointer when we hover these PNGs, and I think so you can easily put your dedicated links on these PNGs just by inserting the A tags. I can do it like, okay, here I just make a tag, and then inside the A tag I will copy my image, and then here I will give an href, and here you can give your link. Okay, so it's very easy, and I am not going to explain this. It's very easy stuff. Okay, so I think so that now we should move to the right side. Okay, so to start the right side, have a look in the code. As you can see that in our pre-built version, we only have the PNGs, or you can say images, in the right side. We just have these two texts in the right side. So first of all, our only work will be with the PNGs. So I am going to import all these PNGs that are in the images section. You can clearly see our images section here have these vector PNGs, I have made them PNGs from the blob.com. I will put the link in the description so you can also make your own PNGs like this. Okay, so let's first import them. I am fast forwarding the video so it will not take too much time. So here I have imported all the PNGs from the image directory, and now let's import them in the right side. So I am just clearing this text and pasting these images like this. Let's see the results. Okay, here there is an error that crown.png is not found. So let's see how we can solve this problem. Okay, here I have not specified the directory for this one. Now let's try again, and the similar I have typo here for the glass emoji. Now let's see. Okay, you can see here I have the PNGs, but they are not showing up completely because we have not made them style. So let's style them. I am closing this tag. Okay, first of all, for the right side I have made its flex 1. Now I am going to make its position relative. Okay, after this I am saying everything inside the right side will have the position absolute. Okay, like this, and of course everything inside this will have the z index of 1. So if anything comes outside its div, it will overflow the left side, so it will not see us any boundary. Okay, after this let's first check the results. Here we have all our PNGs that we have imported. Okay, first of all let's fix this blue PNG. For this I am saying inside the right side, like this, I am saying it's first child, because the blue PNG is the first child. I am transforming it, basically I am scaling it. Okay, so just scale it about 0.69%. I have made this value by playing around many values and it just fits best. And of course mirrors is left minus 15%. Okay, 50 should be 15. Okay, here you can see the PNG is now very small, and it almost below the yellow PNG, and we are not able to see it properly, but we will fix it. Okay, and I just want to say I also have to make its top minus 9%. So let's see. Okay, so now it's better than previous one. Now it's time to fix the yellow PNG. For the yellow PNG I am saying it's the second child of the right side, and for I am making its top around minus 4.6%. yeah, it will be okay. And after this I am transforming it and then scale it around 0.67%. okay, and then its left side will be minus 3 rem. Now let's see. If I refresh the page, yes, now it's very clear and obvious that it is not in the perfect position. So because I have to use here rem instead of percentage. Okay, now it is in its correct position. Let's move on. Our next target is the boy image. So for the boy image, I am targeting the third child. Okay, so for the third child, I am transforming it and then just scaling it to a bigger size of 1.4, means it will be larger than the previous one, and then making its left 28% like this. Now let's see. Now you can see everything is in its correct position. Our next target to make these floating divs and these glass emoji. For the floating div, I am just making a div and not giving it any name, and inside this I will make a component name as floating div. Okay, so just this. And for the floating div, I will make an other folder inside the components, and I will say it as floating div, and of course the same procedure, the two files will be like this .jsx. Okay, and the other file will be css for the same file. Okay, here write the rfce for the arrow function, and then removing this and making our div with the class of floating div. Okay, and inside here simply we will have an image, and below the image we will also have our text. Let's say our first text will be the web, and after this we will have a break of line like this, and then our second text like this. Okay, so just have to import this here by auto suggestion, so this one. Okay, let's see what happens. Here we have this div. Okay, so it's time to import an image and properly style this. So we have a png here, crown, which will be imported in the floating div. So I will just give it as a parameter to the floating div as the image will be the crown. Okay, and then I will receive this prop here, like it should be image. Okay, and inside the src I will say image. Okay, now let's see what happens. Here we have the crown image. Okay, of course we have to style it, but as you know that in the developed version we also have the same floating div, and the text for this floating div is changed, so the text should also be dynamic. So to make the text also dynamic, I will also send the text in props as the txt1 will be the web and txt2 will be the developer. Now just receive these props, so text1 and the text2. Instead of writing this statically, I will make them dynamic as text1, and similarly here the text2. Okay, and save it here. Now let's see. You can see we have the same effect web developer. Now we can move to its styling safely. So here I have its css. Inside its css I am saying the floating div that we made a class. It will justify the content as the space around, and to use this property we have to make it as the display flex, and then it will have the background white. Okay, it's very basic styling, and I am going to use a box shadow that we have made in app.css. Okay, here you can see we have the box shadow, this value, so we are going to use this shadow all around our project. So just making a variable with the box shadow. Okay, and after this I have the border radius of almost 17 pixels will be okay. Now to see the results I am importing the css file in floating div, so import floating div.css. Yeah, Okay, here you can see we have a shadow and our image and the white background. So it means our CSS is working fine, but we more need to style it. Okay, so for more, I am going to align items in the center and then giving it a, let's see the results. Okay, yeah, the size of the div is correct, but the image is not in its proper position. So for the image, I will say inside the floating div there is an image, and for this image I want to scale down it. Okay, so I am just scaling down it around 0.4%. Now let's see. Okay, you can see now its width is too much correct. Also, we have to style this pen text. Okay, it should not be the Gumela font. It should be the normal Arial text or the sans serif. So for this, I am making the floating div, and the span will be have the font family of sans serif like this, and the font size of 16 pixels. As we have the default text size of 20 pixels, we want a smaller text. So yeah, okay, let's refresh. Here you can see the div is looking very fine. The only thing is to make it to the correct position. Okay, so to its correct position, I am going to intro.jsx, and in its parent div I am giving it a style. So for its styling, I am giving it a top of -4%, and it should be under, and for styling I am giving it a top of -4% like this, and after this I am giving a left value of 68%. Okay, let's see. Here we have it in the correct position, and our next task is to import this floating div. So it will be too much easy. Just make an other div, and inside the div make an other floating div, and give it a image of thumbs up. Okay, because we have thumb up here imported. So I am just going to use this thumb up, and it text one will be the best design. Okay, like this, and its text 2 will be award, just like this. Now close this component. Let's see. Yeah, here here you can see we have another. Now it's time to make its correct position. So for its correct position, again style the parent div, and for the parent div, first of all I am going to, it's the top of 18 rem like this, and then the left of 0 rem. Yeah, now it's in the correct position. But if we look at the left version, we also have a glass emoji, so it's time to import that glass emoji. So here below the why I am importing this, so just writing the glasses emoji. Okay, let's see. Yeah, here we have this, and it's time to style this one also. So for this one I am targeting the right side, and then inside the right child it is the fourth child. Okay, and then scale down it around 0.2%, and then its top I think so -19%, and the left I assume -24%, and then its border radius 50%, so it will have a round border, and yeah, its padding will be only 0. Here you can notice the size is too much small. We should make it bigger, so I will make it 6%. Okay, like this. Now let's see. Okay, you can see now it's looking very good and quite similar to the developed version, but the only thing we need to import these blur of sky blue and this blur of purple. So let's see how we will make this. So below this floating div, okay, here just enlarging the font and word wrap. Okay, so below this div I am also commenting these are the blur divs. These are not any kind of PNGs, these are simply the HTML divs like this. Okay, so I am just making a div and giving it a class name of blur. Okay, and after this I am giving it some style. So for its style, first of all I am giving it a background color. Okay, let's format the code. Yeah, here we have, as we have no effect on the result because there is no width and height and it have no content. Let's style the blur. Here below the right side I am declaring the class blur, and we can also declare it in the app.css, but because we also need blur in many sections of the portfolio, first of all make its position absolute, and after this giving it a width of 22 rem and a height of 14 rem and the border radius. I use this technique in many my personal projects because I love these blurs. After this I am giving it a background of this color and then giving it a filter blur. Okay, so this is the main thing that will make it blurry, and 212 pixels, then giving it a z index of -9. -9 is below all the other divs on our personal portfolio, and then the top of 18% and the left of let's assume 56. Okay, I assume that we have made some mistake. It should be -18%. Okay, now let's see. If I make its blur value less, around 72. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, now we have the clear effect. I am removing this one, okay, and using this 72% blur. So from the same class we can also make the sky blue blur here. So let's see how I am going to make this. Here I am declaring an other div and just giving it a class name of blur, and after this one, and the giving top of 17 rem, and the width will be around 21 rem. Here should be a comma like this, and after this it will have a height of 11 rem. Let's see. Here we have this one, but its left value is not correct. So for its left value I am giving it a -9 rem. Yeah, now everything is okay for the intro section, and we should change the text of contact us, because in the developed version we only have the contact. So I go to the navbar.jsx and just remove this one. Okay, so now you can see everything is pretty simple and pretty good. Let's move on to the next section. Okay, so next we are going to make the services section, which is basically this one. Below the intro section, this is the services section. So we are going to develop this. So first of all I am closing all the extra files, and then inside the source and the component I am making another folder with the name services. Okay, the service folder will again have the two files. The first will be the services.jsx and the other one will be its css. So services.css. okay, now I am opening the services.jsx and rfce. okay, if we have a look at its pre-built version, we can see clearly it has a left side which has the my awesome services text, and the right side have these awesome cards. So I am making a div and giving it a name as services. Okay, inside the services first we have the left side. So for the left side I am making a div and calling it as awesome, means awesome div, because this has this awesome text. Okay, and after this we have the right side, and for the right side I am calling it as the cards div. So just like this. So now before starting this left side, I am first importing all the components that we are going to need in this section. So first of all, basically install its services.css. So services.css, and then I have to import the PNGs for the card. So first of all I am importing this heart emoji and then this glasses emoji. Basically we have all these emojis inside the image folder here. Okay, inside this folder. And next I am importing this humble emoji. So let's move to the left side div first. Okay, so first of all in a span I am writing the my awesome text. Okay, because we have this one here. Okay, now in the next span I am writing these services, and then I am giving an other span, and inside this span I am basically writing this text, the lorem ipsum. Okay, so just giving a break because we want this break here. Okay, and after this I am just adding more text and closing the span. So if we look at this version, we also have a button here of download CV. So let's make this button, and I have just given it is a class of button that we have in app.css, and s button I have given this the services button. Okay, so basically we have to style it according to this section, so I have given it as the s button, and in the last we have a blur. So basically it is the blur class that we have in our intro section, so all properties will be applied, and then this is the services blur one that we will customly apply on this according to this section. And I have given this a beautiful color you will see in the browser. So to see the results we have to import this in the app.js. So here I am calling it as services and auto import like this. Let's close and see the results. Okay, so you can see here we have this text, my awesome services, and the download CV button. And for the right side I should make a random text here like I am the right side. Okay, so now it's time to style it. I am pinning the .css in the right side. Here in this section, first of all write the .services class, and for this class I am giving it a padding of top and bottom 0 and left and right the 3 rem. After this I am making it as the display flex, the whole services block, the whole service section will be a display flex. And okay, and then I am giving it a height of 90% view height. Okay, it will be enough, and then giving it a margin bottom of 8 rem. After this the margin top of 9 rem and the margin bottom of 13 rem. So these are basically the values I have mentioned again and again, that I have made these values possible by playing around different values, so you can also try according to your needs. So let's see the results. Here you can see we have all the margins and padding as the display was flexed, so everything is aligned in the row direction. So let's move on and give the styling for the awesome div. So for the awesome div I am targeting it as this .awesome and then closing the bracket and making it as the display flex. So let's see what happened right now. Okay, you can see it has taken the whole height. So let's fix this. I am giving it a first of flex of direction column because now it is in the row direction and it's not our required version. So I am giving it a direction column, and its position is relative. So let's see. Okay, now you can clearly see our left side is aligned on the left and right is on the right. So basically this all magic is happened by flex direction, which we have mentioned as column. After this we have to change the font size, and we have to give the different colors to the services and the my awesome, as we have did in the hi I am Andrew Thomas text. So the same thing we have to do here. So basically as we know that this is the first child of the awesome div, my awesome, so I am targeting it in the .css like this and then closing the bracket, and after this I am giving it a text color of black that we have made in app.css and font size of 2.5 rem. Let's see the results. Okay, now you can see it's looking according our needs. We can see here, but it's in the bold, so we should make it bold. Okay, we will make it here it's font weight bold, and let's see now. You can see that now it's looking quite similar to our developed version. Now it's time to style the services section. So for the services section I am targeting the second child of our awesome div like this, and then simply putting these properties, just making its text color orange and font size of 2.5 rem, that is equal to the first child, the my awesome child. Okay, and then I am again giving it a font weight of bold. It is quite simple. So let's see. Here you can see we have the service text looking very good, and it's time to style this text. So for this one I am targeting the third child and then giving it a color of gray and the font size of 14 pixels because it is a secondary text. So let's see. Okay, I think so we have to give it some margin. So I am giving it a margin top of 1 rem, and now let's see. Okay, now it's looking very good. And now the very obvious thing is that we have to make this download save button correct. So for this button, as you remember, we have made it as the S button. So I will target the S button class, not the button class, because these styles in the button class are the universal. So I am targeting it as S button and then giving it a width of 8 rem. Let's see. Yeah, 8 rem is good, and then giving it a height of 2 rem and a margin top of 1 rem, because you can see it's very close to the secondary text. So give it some distance by the margin top. So let's save and see. Yeah, our left side is ready to use. It's time to make the right side. Okay, if we see the right side in the developed version, you can see we have 3 cards in the right side with some primary text, the secondary text, and a button. The button is common in all the cards, so we will not make it the dynamic, but the text is changed in each card and the styling is same for the each card. So you can clearly have an idea that we will use the reusable function of React to make each card, and we will make the image primary text and the secondary text as the prop of the card, and then we will receive these props in the card component, and we're gonna make it very easily. So let's see how we are going to do this. Okay, let's make it smaller like this, and I am removing this text. Here for each card I will make an individual div. Okay, so just in div I am making a card component, and inside each div I will declare a card like this. Okay, and now for the each card, as we have mentioned, we will use 3 props. The first prop will be the emoji. As we have imported the heart emoji on the top section, so we are using this, and then giving it a primary text means the heading. So its heading is going to be the design. As you can see here, we have the design. Okay, so and its secondary text, that I will say as the detail, and for its detail I will say as Figma, Sketch, and Photoshop, and Adobe, and Adobe X. Okay, I think that's enough. And clearly our program will have an error because we don't have any card component. So yes, there is the error. Okay, so first of all, let's make the card component in the components. So the card folder, and then a file as the card.csx, and then other file card.css. Okay, inside the card write rfc for the fat arrow function, and then I am removing this div, making my own div of card. Okay, now inside the card, first of all I will have an image, because you know the first thing is an image. So just write the image, and I am going to receive this image through the props, because we are declaring these things here. These are the props. Okay, so I am receiving these props here. Our first prop is the emoji, and the second is the heading, and the third one is the detail. So its source will become the emoji that we have received, and then inside the span I will use the heading. Okay, and similarly the secondary text, which is the detail. Okay, so now I have to import the card by the auto suggestion. So yes, like this. Okay, now let's see what happens. Here we have our card, but we have not declared any styling, so this is not looking very good and in a proper manner. So let's define some styling for it. I will close this file here. So first of all, I will target my card div by targeting its class like this, and then I am giving it a width of 10 rem and a height of 13 rem. As we can notice here, the height is slightly larger than its width. So yeah, and then I am giving it is a position of absolute. So why I am giving it a position of absolute? So why I am giving it as a position absolute? We know that position relative and position absolute will make a pair. Everything inside a relative div, mean a div which have a position relative, and then it has a child which have a position absolute, the child will make its styling relative to the div which has the position relative. I know it's not making too much sense right now, but it will make sense when we do it practically. So for now, just giving it the position absolute, okay? And after this, giving it a display flex. Let's see what happened. Here you can say everything is in the row because it is now a display flex, and I am giving it a flex direction of column and then a gap of 1 rem. Okay, so the styles are not applied. Let's see why that happened. Okay, we have not imported our CSS in the JSX, so this is the common mistake I am making continuously. So now you can see everything is in the column direction with the gap of 1 rem, and its width is exactly that we have declared 10 rem and height of 13 rem. So now I am aligning them in the center. Okay, so now they are in a center direction, and then giving it again a width of 10 rem. Okay, that's just a typo. And then I am also aligning the text in the center of the div, because in the center it will make more sense according to our required design that it also have the text align center. And then I am giving it a background color of a glossy look. Okay, it's not a solid color, it is transparent color of silver. So let's see. Here you can see there is a very light transparent color behind this dark. I don't know is it visible to you or no for now, but it will make sense when we will have blur beside this div. Okay, so after this I am giving it a border of 7 pixel and the orange card color. I have declared the orange card color in the app.css and giving it a box shadow from the app.css and the border radius of 20 pixels, and finally giving it a padding. Okay, here you can see our card is ready to use. Here you can see we have our card, but still it have many things to manage. First of all, the image is very huge because we don't have a huge image. Okay, and then the text styling, and of course a button should be added in the card. So let's make a button inside the card.jsx. I will make a button and giving it a class of card button, and inside this I am writing learn more. Okay, so let's see. Here we have the button. You can see the button is outside the card div because the image is very huge. When we scale down the image, the button will clearly inside the boundaries. So let's style this. So first of all, I am fixing these details. So I am just targeting them as I am saying inside the card div the second child of type span, because this is the second child of type span. So this line have this meaning: the second child of type span inside the card div will have color gray that we have in app.css and the font size of 16 pixels. So let's save and see. Now I will target this image inside the CSS. So I am targeting it just a simple trick that inside the card we have an image and scaling down it to 6% of its current height and width and giving it a margin bottom of -2 rem. Let's see. Here you can see now our button is inside the boundaries, and I am thinking that our primary text is quite good in style. We just have to style the button. So for the button, first of all I am targeting its class and then giving it a white background. Okay, and then I am giving it a box shadow. I should make this file larger, and then giving it a border radius 7 pixels. Let's see. Here you can see but it's looking very odd. Okay, so I am giving it a border none and the padding of 10 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, now I have given the font size of 16 pixels and a color inside the button will be this sky blue. Okay, and after this just save and see. Yeah, here we have our clear design card. Let's fix its position. To fix its position, I will go to the services.jsx here and declare the styling for its parent div, and I am giving it a left side of 14 rem, means its distance from the left side will be 14 rem only. So as you can see that our card is not changing its position. So here comes the concept of position absolute and relative. Why this is not changing its position? Because we have not made the right side as position relative. So inside the services.css, if I make the right side, which is basically the cards, okay, so if I make the cards div as the position relative, and after this I will say everything inside the cards will have the position absolute, okay, like this. Now see, it will change its position. So here this is the correct version of the position absolute, relative and our card position. Now we can simply make the other cards just like this and we will change the position. So just below our first card, I am making text smaller so it will be visible. Okay, so just below our first card I am going to make the second card. So I am giving a heading of second card and its parent div, and inside this I have a card with the emoji of glasses, heading of developer and a detail like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Let's save and see. Here you can see we have our second card. I have given it a top position of 12 rem because it's below our first card, so this distance is here of 12 rem. Now it's time for our third card, which is the last one. I have a div and inside this div I have a card with the emoji humble, heading UI UX and a detail like lorem spam, okay, and you can clearly see the top distance is even more than the second one because it is even below the second card, okay. So let's save and see. Here we have our third card. So our services section is just ready and the only thing we have to do is to give here a file to download when we click the download CU button. So to make it possible, here we have button in services.jsx. I am just making an a tag, okay, around this like this and making our button inside this a tag. Okay, here I have my resume inside the services folder, means the same directory as services.jsx. So to the a, so I am giving it an href of my resume like this and giving it a download type. Okay, so first of all I have to import my resume. So here I am importing my resume from the same directory like this. Now let's see what happens when we click our button. So here I am refreshing it. Okay, when I click this button you can see my resume is downloading. So our services section is complete now. Let's move. But before going on next, we have forgot about the blur section that we have imported in the intro section and one we have also imported in this services section. And the developed version we also have a purple. So first of all, let's import that purple one. Okay, here I have an other div. I have given it a class name of sblur2, means service blur2, and a background color of purple, and just save it and let's see. Here we have a purple and sky blue blurs. Let's style them. Inside the CSS I am making a heading blur and just give their positions a correct position. Let's save and see. Now this is the developed and this is our development, so quite similar. Let's move on to the experience section like this. For the experience section I am making another component and then a file experience.jsx and another file experience.css like this. Let's move the JSX here, and here I am saying RFCE. Let's remove this div, make our div and name it as the experience div. Inside this div we will have the 3 more divs. Each div will have the name achievement. So inside the first div I am making a class circle which will have the 8 plus value, okay, because in the developed version you can see here is this div which have the name achievement, and then I have the years span And after this, the experience span, I am giving them the individual spans because they have the different color in the developed version. So after this, there is another achievement div which have 20 plus completed span and the project span, and similarly the third one. Okay, now let's save them and import them in the app.js. Here I am saying experience. Let's save and see. So here these are. Let's make the CSS file for them. First of all, import the CSS file. So experience.css. Here for the CSS, first of all, target the main parent class, and inside this I am making it as display flex, justify content center, line item center, and the gap between the items is 5 rem. Let's see. Okay, now here they are. Next, after this I am giving them a height of 30 vh and the margin bottom of 8 rem. Okay, now they have their area inside the page. Okay, the area of 30 view height. After this we have to make the achievement. So making again the display flex direction column, because we want all this stuff in the column direction, and then the align item center. Let's save and see. You know, after this we have to make a circle. We have the circle class around the integers. So to make the circle, first of all I am declaring its width of 4 rem and height to make it as square, and the background of white. Let's see. Then the border radius of 100% to make it a circle, and a position relative. After this, let's make it a display flex and align item center. Justify content center, font size of 1.5 rem, font weight of bold, and the margin bottom of 2 rem. Let's save and see. So here you can see, because the background is white, so it is barely visible, but the text is now larger, but the integers are now larger, so it means our styling is applied. After this, I am making a before tag over the circle. Okay, so there will become an element just above the content of the circle. Okay, so I am doing this because I want these gradients around the integers. So to make these gradients, I am making a before tag, and also giving it a border radius of 100%, and it will have nothing, means its content is blank. And then I am giving it a background image. The content is blank, the only thing it has a background image, which is basically the gradient color. After this, from top it will be -8 pixel left, -8 pixel bottom, and similarly right. So what I mean, I am here defining its width. Its width from all the sides will be 8 pixels. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so to see the results, I have to make its position absolute, z index of -1. So let's see here. Here you can see I have these gradients, and I also want to give them some shadows. So here is the shadow. Yeah, now they are looking very good. And here I have a mistake. Here I should write the work also. So below this I am making another span and writing work. Okay, so yeah, now they are looking very correct. After this, inside this styling, I also want to change the color of experience, project, and work. So I am targeting the span of nth type 2, means I am targeting the second span of every achievement. Okay, and here the color will be the orange. Let's see. You can see now the desired results are achieved. So this section is completed. So now let's move on to the next section. So for the next section, I am making another folder inside the components, and here the other folder is works. Okay, and inside the works again we will have two files. The first one will be the works.jsx, and the other one will be its css. After this, I'm closing all unnecessary files here, just like this, and pinning the CSS to the left side. Now again close them all. Okay, now here writing RAFCE and then importing its CSS, so works.css from the same directory. Now import this in the app.js. Okay, so here I am just writing works auto import basically. Okay, now let's see. Here we have the text works, means our component has imported successfully. Now I am going to use the same technique as we have used in the intro and the service section. Basically we can more relate it to the service section. First we have the text in the left side, and then we will have the circles and the brand logos on the right side. Okay, so let's do this. Here I am just cleaning this stuff, and so as the task is similar, so I am not going to make new classes and the new CSS for all this stuff again and again. I will use the same classes as I have used in the awesome section and then just replace the text. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to do this. In the services section, here we have the services. I am copying its left side completely. Okay, so this is the left side. So first of all, I will have a div like this works, and inside this div I am just copy and pasting all this stuff from services.jsx all the left side. Okay, so this is the left side, copy and paste here like this. And of course we don't need this link to our CV here, so I am deleting this tag and also this tag. Now format the code, and I should make it more clear like this. Okay, now our only task is to change the text here. So here I will write the works for all these. Okay, and here A should be capital like this, and then in the second span I will write brands clients. Okay, and now the same lorem and spam, but I just noticed that here we need more breaks. Okay, so first break and then copy this text something and more text from here like this. I am just making it a proper spacing. Okay, and then another break and some text from, so it's going to be the total format of our work section. Let's save and see. Here we have, so here I will write hire me like this. Now let's see. Okay, the more thing we want is there should be a padding, so I am making a class here works target this and giving it some padding. So I am giving it 0 from top, 3 rem from left, and 0 from bottom, and 3 rem from right. Let's see. Yeah, now it's working perfectly. And for more, I also have to give it a display flex, and a height of 90 VH will be okay, and margin top of 4 rem like this. Let's see. Yeah, now we have height for this section. Our next task is to make this side. Okay, so for this side, first of all I am importing all the PNGs we required for the work section. So just make it small, and here I am first of all importing the Upwork icon, and then the Fiverr icon, and the Amazon icon, the Shopify icon, and the Facebook icon. Okay, now this is enough for this side, and here I have to make the right side comment like this. Now for the right side, so if we have a look at the developed version, here you can see we have this circle. So I will name this main circle that is behind these icon circle. I will say it as the main circle, and then the icon circle I will say as the secondary circle. Okay, so we will go to these colorful circles on later. First we just have to solve this section. Okay, so let's see what I am going to do. Inside the right section, first of all I will make a main circle, okay, for the larger one that is behind everything. Okay, and then I will make a secondary circle. Okay, these secondary circle are these circles. Okay, so in the first secondary circle I will make the image of Upwork. As you can see here we have an image of Upwork. After this I will make an other secondary circle. Inside this we will have Fiverr, and similarly an Amazon, and similarly the Shopify. Okay, so let's see. Here you can see we have our icons, but we have no circle and no styling because still we have not declared any CSS for them. But let's move on. After them, I have another secondary circle for the Facebook. Okay, and then just see the Facebook icon also, you can see it's here. And then I have the background circles. The background circles are these one, the blue and the yellow. I am giving a work background circle class, and then I am giving it a class blue circle, and then similarly I am making a yellow circle also. So let's style them. So first of all, I am targeting the right side. So here the right side class, and I am giving it a position relative. Okay, and after this I am making the main circle. So I am giving the right side as a position relative because I want everything inside the right side should be position absolute, so we can play with their positions. So in the main circle, I am giving it a position of left 9 rem and a position relative, and then giving it a width and height of 18 rem. Still it will be not visible for us because we have not given it any background color. And we know that in the developed version, here you can see it has the white background. So in the case if I give it a white background, still it will not visible. It will only visible when we give it a shadow like this. Okay, so let's move on. Here I have its border radius 100%, so it will be a circle, and then the box shadow. So after giving, and then I am giving it a box shadow. I have declared this shadow in my app.css. So now let's see. Here you can see our circle is barely visible. Okay, so now let's move on. I am giving it a position from top of 2 rem and a background of white finally. So here is our final output for the main circle. It's time to style the secondary circle. Okay, you can see our main circle is inheriting all these secondary circles. Okay, so main circle have position absolute relative to the work right. Okay, and the main circle has the position relative for the secondary circles. So secondary circle have position absolute for the main circle, and main circle has the position absolute for the work right section. Okay, so I hope you got the point. After this we are going to make everything inside the main circle position absolute, and then I am targeting the first child, means the first secondary circle, and giving it a top and left position. So now let's see. Here you can see our upwork PNG is on the right direction. We have not styled them, so they are not in the correct position. And then I am targeting the second one and giving the position for this one, and similarly for the third one and the fourth one. I have given them the correct position. So now let's see. You can see here these are, but still we have to fix the Facebook. So let's fix this one. Here is the Facebook, and now let's see. You can see our Facebook is also in the correct direction. It's time to make circles around these PNGs. So make the circle, I am targeting the secondary circle class and giving it a width and height. Basically it will be a square, and then giving it a position absolute and the border radius of 100% to make it circle, and then the border of 5 pixel solid and color of this slightly gray color. Okay, and then the very basic stuff of display flex, that the PNGs will be in the center and justified at the center. So let's see. Here you can see we have successfully made the circles around them, but the PNGs are very large, so we also have to fix their sizes. So let's fix them. After giving them a background none and the very small shadow to make these circles more visible, you can see I am also giving it a background of white. Okay, so yeah, now it's looking good. Now we can move to the size of PNGs. So here I am targeting all the images inside the secondary circles and transforming to their 6% of total size. So now they have the workable sizes. Okay, after this I am targeting the background circles. You know, here we have the background circle. The one is blue and the other is the yellow circle, but they both have a common class, the background circle, the back circle. Okay, so first of all I will make the properties for the back circle. Every back circle will have position absolute and height and width of 13 rem. Okay, and after this the border radius of 100%. Still they will not be visible. Let's see. Yeah, they are not visible for now. After this, I am giving them a z index of -1. So they will be always behind the primary circle or the main circle. After this, I am targeting the blue circle and giving the blue circle a color of this blue. Okay. So let's see. Here you can see we have our blue circle. So this is its position, and finally for the yellow circle, similarly giving the color and its position. Now let's see the results. Here we have made our work section complete. You can see how amazing this is looking. It's time to move on. So for the portfolio section, here inside the components, I am again making another folder and giving name it as portfolio, and we will have two files inside this. Now you are used to it, portfolio.jsx and the portfolio.css. Okay, so I am closing this one and this one. Just copy this here. Here I am writing RFCE and importing its CSS first because we mostly forget it. Portfolio.css, and then import this in app.js. I know my speed is little bit faster right now, but I have to do it to complete the tutorial. So yeah, here we have the text portfolio, means it's working. If we look at the developed version, you can see these portfolios are in the raw direction, and for these portfolio we have to install a library. Okay, so I am making an other terminal just like this and writing jar add swiper. So this is a very cool library to make such a sliders. It will take some time, depends on your internet connection, and yarn is faster than the npm. I assume that, so if you are using npm you can simply write npm I swiper, and if you are using yarn then you can use the yarn add swiper. Okay, then here I am removing this and making my own portfolio div like this. Here I have an extra I am removing this. Okay, inside this, first of all I will have a heading for this section, and for the heading I am writing the recent projects, and simply copy and paste this, and here I am saying the portfolio like this. Now let's import the two components from our swiper library. So I will import this like this. The first component will be the parent swiper component, and the other will be the its child like swiper slide from swiper and then the react. Okay, so let's see slider. And for the slider, first of all I will import the parent component swiper, and then just save and see if it's working or giving an error. Yeah, it's working fine. Okay, after this, inside the swiper I will have the swiper slide. Okay, so this is the swiper slide, and for the swipers, and inside the swiper slide I will have the images. So let's import the images first. So here I am pasting my imports, here all the imports, but the one thing, to use the swiper JS we also have to include its CSS file. So I will just write the swiper and then CSS. Okay, so it will auto locate where is its CSS. So let's save, and here for the first image I will use the sidebar image. Okay, this is basically a tutorial you can find on my YouTube channel. So let's see. Okay, here this is the image of my tutorial. Okay, of course we will fix their stylings on later, but for now just copy and paste these slides. It's very basic stuff like this. And second one I have the e-commerce, and then I also have an other slide. So the slide has the HOC image. This is also a tutorial on my YouTube channel. So let's save and see. Okay, here you can see we have the proper slider working. Okay, it's very cool. You can see very simply we have made a slider. The next task is to style it. Here I am making it larger and just close the terminal. Okay, so first of all, I'm targeting the main portfolio class and making it display flex, and this is the common stuff we are doing, and giving it a flex direction of column. It's necessary to give it a flex direction column because here you can see we want this text and these slides in the column direction, not in the row direction. Okay, so let's save and see. Here you can see these all things are in the column direction. Okay, on the next I am targeting the first span inside the portfolio, which is basically the recent project text. Okay, so for this I am giving it a color of our black and a font size of 2 rem and a font weight of bold. Let's see. Here you can see now it's time to style portfolio. So of course I will target the second span child and then give it a color orange and a font weight larger than this one and a bold weight. Okay, so here it is. Now it's time to style these slides. So to style the slides, making a comment of slider and then targeting this swiper class in the portfolio, which is basically this one. Okay, so for this one I'm making its overflow visible, so all the slides will be visible in one view, not all the slides but the maximum slides. Okay, and after this I am targeting the portfolio slider. It is an intermediate class between the swiper slide and the swiper. Okay, so for this one I am giving margin top of 3 rem and a width of 100%. After this I am targeting the swiper slide, which is this one class. Okay, for this I am giving the width of 20 rem, and after this I am targeting the image inside this swiper slide. For this I will give it a width of 19 rem. So let's see. The width of swiper slide is 20 rem and the image of 19 rem. After this I have to give a shadow for the image like this one, and then the border radius of 19 pixels. Here you can see we are unable to slide these. Okay, this because we have not specified the distance between these slides and therefore there is an irregularity between them. So to correct them, here in the swiper I will pass some parameters. So the first parameter will be the space between. I will make as 30 pixels between each slide, and the slides per view. Okay, so the slides per view mean the slides in each view will be 3, and then after this we have a grab cursor enable. So to enable it, by enabling it we will have a hand on the slide that will grab the slides. Okay, and here I am giving the class name of folio and then the slider like this. Now let's see. If I refresh the page, you can see now they are in the correct direction, in the correct dimension and working correctly. So that's all about the slides. Now let's move on to the next section. So it's time to make the testimonial section, which is basically here. This is the testimonial section. Okay, so the slides that I have used in the testimonial sections is also the part of swiper.js. So let's see how we are going to build this. First of all, make the folder and the files for the testimonials. Okay, and then inside the testimonials, testimonial.jsx, and then similarly another file, testimonial.css. Okay, now just close them here, and I am pinning it to the right side here, rafce like this, and then importing its css like this, testimonial.css, and then importing the testimonial below the portfolio. So testimonial like this. Okay, so here just save and see if we have properly installed. Yeah, here is the testimonial, so we can start work with this. First of all, I am making a parent div of testimonial, and I will say it as t wrapper, means testimonial wrapper. And then after this I will make some heading inside the t wrapper. So just bigger the text. Okay, here I am making a heading div, and inside this I have a tag of clients always get, and the second I have the exceptional work, and in the third from me. Okay, after this I have two blurs in this section. You can see here, this is the first blur and this is the second blur. So simply just import them and give them a color of purple, and the second one will have the color of sky blue. Okay, so let's save and see. Here we have not given the height to the testimonial section, therefore we are unable to see the blurs, but soon we will fix it. Okay, so below this div of heading, I think so I should make it here right now. Okay, below this I am going to make a slider, and for the slider, you know, we have to import the swiper and the swiper slide. So here I am writing import swiper and then the swiper slide from the swiper and then the React. Okay, so I should make the text smaller and I should make it also small. Okay, right, this let's open the word wrap. Okay, now after this here I am making a swiper component, which is basically the parent one. Now to make the different testimonials, instead of making them manually one by one, I will use the array method. I will make an array of clients first of all. Okay, so here I am going to make an array of clients. So for the clients I am making an array, and it should not be an object, it should be an array, and inside this array here these are the other objects, and this should be const. Okay, like this. Now there is that we have not imported these images, so let's import. So above the testimonial I am importing all these images from the image section, just like this. Let's let's make the text smaller. Okay, like this. Now you can clearly have an idea what we are going to do. This is an array which have the image of the client and the review of the client. Iterate through this array of clients. Okay, and for each client I will return a swiper slide. So here I will write JavaScript clients dot map, and then for each client like this also it should have an index and the fat arrow function, and each client will return a swiper slide. Here I write the swiper slide like this and give it a key of index, just like this. Now inside the swiper slide, first of all I have an image. The image will be of the client, so client dot image. Okay, and then we have the review of the client. So for the review I have the span, and inside the span I have the review. Okay, just like this. Let's save all of this stuff just like this. Okay, now let's see. Here you can see I have these slides. Now it's time to style all of this section, but before section I want that there should be a pagination. The pagination is basically the dots on which we click and these slides move along. Okay, so to do this, here inside the parent object swiper I will say it will use a module which have a name pagination. Of course we have to import this pagination, and also the slides per view, just like this, should be equal to 1. After this I am saying the pagination should be clickable, because if we not make it clickable true, so we are not able to click on the dots and slides will not move. Now it's time to import this module of pagination. Okay, so to import this, here I am writing import pagination from swiper. Just this is, and to import its CSS I am writing import swiper CSS and then the pagination. It is the CSS of pagination module, and also we have to import this CSS for the swiper module. So here I write swiper and then the CSS. Now let's see. Okay, so you can have a clear idea, these are the pagination dots. Okay, so now let's style them. Here we can see inside the swiper slide the image and span don't have any parent div, so just make a parent div for them with the name testimonial like this, and then wrap everything inside this div. Okay, so yeah, just like this. Now we can style this safely. So first of all, I am targeting the wrapper, and inside the wrapper I am giving it a padding of 3 rem from left and right and height of 100% VH, and display flex, and then the line item center, justify content, margin top of 7 rem. So let's save and see. Here you can see. Okay, after this I am targeting the heading. So you can see that the heading is just right here. Okay, so I am targeting this one and making this in the flex start, and then everything inside the heading I am making its font size 2 rem and font weight of bold. Let's see. Here you can get the idea. Okay, and after this I am saying the second span inside the heading should have the color orange. So the second span is this work, exceptional work. Okay, so let's see. Here this has the orange color. Okay, after this I am making the first blur to the correct position. So now you can see the first blur is the purple one inside our testimonial.jsx. Here we have the purple blur. Okay, so I have just fixed this position. After this I have to fix the second blur with its position, and then I am targeting testimonial. But let's first see these blurs. Okay, here it have the correct positions. Now for the testimonial, which is basically our slide, I am saying the testimonial should have display flex, items column, center, space evenly, and then the padding width, and very basic stuff. Let's see. Okay, now everything is in the column and looking good. And for more, I am giving it a glossy background. It's not a solid, it's a transparent color, and then fixing the border 7 pixels and this blue card color in our app.css and the box shadow, and after this I am giving it the border radius. Let's even see. Here you can see we have a very beautiful border around our testimonial. Okay, now let's target the image inside the testimonial, and I am giving it the width and height and the border radius. Okay, so now you can see every image is in the circle. Yeah, that's the thing that we want. Now let's target the review of every client, and for the review I am giving it the color of gray. Let's save and see. Here you can see it has the gray color. It's time to fix these sliders. You can see that here many slides are over each other. So to fix this, first of all, I am targeting the swiper inside our testimonial wrapper and giving the width of 100%, height of 70%. You can see after giving it the width of 100%, they are aligned equally and perfectly. Now still we have to fix this. So now I'm targeting each slide and giving display flex, center, and content center. Let's see. Now you can see everything is in the center by targeting individual slide. And the last thing we can do is the color of this pagination blue is not matching with our theme, which is the orange and the yellow. So to make this orange and yellow, I'm targeting this pagination class inside the swiper and making its background orange. So now you can see it has the orange color. So that was the too much easy stuff, and we have made a very beautiful slider just in the 5 minutes. And you can also make this by following the tutorial. Let's move on to the next section. So if we look at our pre-built version, after these testimonials we have this contact component. Okay, so I'm not going into detail and step-by-step procedure for make this. I'm just fast forwarding the video and you can enjoy the music and just see how easy it is to make this stuff similarly by this left and right technique as we have made before. Okay, so let's begin. So here you can see I have made a very beautiful contact component, and now I like to explain it here inside the contact. Okay, you can see I have just made a left side which has two spans and a blur, and then I have the right side which have the three inputs. Okay, and then it also have a blur. This all thing is inside a form. Now if we talk about its CSS, I have made the form as display flex, and these are the very basic CSS. After that, for the right side, I have made it display flex, justify content center, so every field of input is in the center position relative. And now for the form, I have done the same thing. Now the user is basically here, if you can see, the user is basically the class name of every input field. So I am saying that every input field will have the width of 2 rem, height of 20 rem, and should be no outline when we click inside this. You can see there is no black outline when we click inside any field. Okay, so I have declared the font size, border radius, and similarly for the text area I have made it important because the default class is not allowing us to make its height 4 rem. Therefore I have made it important and then specified the position of layer. I hope you got the point. The next functionality that we want, that whenever someone fills this form on our personal portfolio and hits the send button, then message, email, and name should be sent to our Gmail box. Okay, so to do this functionality, I am installing a library, and here just making another instance and writing yarn add email js, just as simple as that. It will take some time to install itself. So here it is installed completely. Now I am going to the website of email.js. Here, when you go to the email.js website, you can see here in the React version. Okay, so you got this home page. So as we know that they also have make a simple form. So I am just copy the code from here like this. I should copy the whole code. Okay, like this. I am copying this code, and inside my own code here, just above the return, I am pasting this one. Yeah, I know at this moment it's not making too much sense, but as we further move on, it will make sense. Now we have to import, okay, email.js first. So I am just importing the email.js. Okay, now it's time to here paste our service ID, template ID, and also our user ID. So where we can get it, okay. So if you make a new account by signing free or make a sign in if you have your previous account, then you got this dashboard. Okay, so first of all, dashboard will be blank. Add new service of the Gmail. I have already added this service, so this is my Gmail service. After this, come here in the email templates, create a new template, and then you will get such a layout. Okay, and you can also customize this layout. What is this? Basically the template. This template is showing whenever someone on your portfolio makes contact to you, his message will be shown to you in your Gmail in such a manner. There will be a you got a new message from, then the email of the input, and then the message, and then again the user email. You can change this as you want. Okay, so basically this is the idea. You got it. Now our task is to get first of all service ID. So to get the service ID, here go to your Gmail and just copy this ID. Okay, so I'm copying this one and paste here like this. After this, go to your template and click template. Here you will have your template ID, and yeah, this one you have your template ID. Just paste it right here like this. And now the very last thing, the user ID. So for the user ID, go to the integration section, and here you have your user ID. Just copy and paste it right here. Yeah, there is our user ID. Everything is set up for now. Now we have to import the use ref from the React. So I am importing the use ref hook from the React. Okay, so where we will need this use ref hook, as you know that we have made an instance of use ref hook as the form, and then here we are using this form dot current. So for my form here, I will give it a ref, and for the ref I will give it the value of form. Okay, and then I will say on submit, just like this, because here I have a button or you can say a input of the type submit. So whenever someone submits, there will be a function call, and that function will be the send email. Okay, so this send email function we have just here. Okay, so I think you got the point. Moreover, there is also one thing to notice, that the email JS will recognize the username and the email by the name of input field. Okay, so here you can see we have the name as the username, and then the email, we have the user email, and for the message we have the message. Okay, you can see because when we see in our template, so here is our template, you can see we are taking the fields of name, username, and the user email, and the simple message. Okay, you can customize it, but keep in mind that the name of your fields and in the template they should match. Save it and try this one. So here we got an error that they should be at the rate of email.js. So I should reinstall this. There I should install the yarn add at the rate email.js and then the browser. Let's okay, now it is installed. Let's save again and see if it is now working or not. Yeah, the error is gone. So the installation command is the yarn add at the rate email.js and then the browser. I don't know why they have made this one, but it's working fine. Okay, so just save and see. If I here write the name just as John and John at the rate gmail.com and send the message, hey, here I am. Okay, so let's send this. Okay, now I go to my Gmail here, and if I see I have a message, and if I open this, here you can see mail address is the john@gmail.com and the message body. So this is working fine. I hope you got the idea how to. I also want to show a message when the contact is successful. So for this reason, here I am using the use state and making a variable with the name done and with this function set done, and I am using the use state. Okay, so this is the use state, and at the start its value should be false. It will have the boolean values. Okay, so after this, here at the I am making a span, and inside span I am saying if done is true, then print this message, which is thanks for contacting me. Okay, I think so that it's enough. Now let's see again. Here I refresh the page and I say John at the rate gmail.com and what are you doing, like this. Now send the message. Okay, nothing happens because we forgot to change its state. So here I say after just sending the message, set done. Okay, set done equal to true. Now let's try again and hope for the best this time. Simply John at the rate gmail.com and anything, and just send. Okay, here you can see we have our span text. So yeah, I know it's a little bit of confusing at the start, but if you rewind the video and watch again, then you will clearly get the idea. So let's move on. So now we are going to make the last component of our personal portfolio. So this is going to be the footer. Okay, so here for the footer, make two files, footer.jsx and footer.css, like this. Now close these extra files, and in the footer.jsx write rafce, and here import the footer.css, like this. Now go to the app.js, just like here, and import the footer one. So okay, so now let's see on the browser. Here we have the footer. First of all, I am making a div with the name footer, and inside this div I have an image, and for the image I am using a wavy image that we have inside the image folder. So you can explore this image inside here. Inside this we have this wave png. Okay, so I am just importing this one, and then I am giving it a style that its width should be 100% of the screen size. Okay, so this is the very basic styling. After this I am making div with the name footer content. Okay, so inside the footer content I am going to use the beautiful icons. Okay, so for the beautiful icons I am installing a library. So just write yarn add at the rate icon scout react icons. Okay, so it is a very famous library. You can explore this library on the internet by writing react icons and the icon scout. Okay, so here it is. You can see its documentation for the react. It's a very famous one. Okay, so we are going to use this. Let's see. Okay, I should also close this email. Yes. Okay, let's see how I'm going to use this. Now first of all I am making a span inside this. I am writing my email ZAINKEEPSCODE at the rate gmail.com, and then I am making a div for these icons. So f icons means the footer icons, and first of all I will make a Instagram icon. So let's first import this. Okay, so here I write import insta from at the rate icon scout and icons, and then icons UIL and Instagram, just like this. Now I am copy this and pasting this 2 times, and the second one will be the Facebook and the third one will be the GitHub. Okay, now let's change their names. Here I say Facebook and here I say GitHub, just like this. Now for the Instagram icon I am giving it a color of white like this and the size of 3 rem. Now make the icon for the Facebook and similarly for the icon for the GitHub. Now I just copy and paste this one for both of remaining, like this and then like this. Close the tag. Now let's save and see. Okay, here is saying the wave is not defined because we have not imported the wave png. So to import this I will wave from, just go outer side and then inside the image we have the wave.png. Okay, now let's save and see. Yeah, here we have this png and the ZAINKEEPSCODE. Now style our footer, and here we also have the icons below the email, but because the color is white so we are unable to see them. So let's style the footer.css. First of all, for the footer class I will make it display flex and the align item center. Then I am giving it a margin from top and bottom of 0.5 rem, and from the both side it will have minus 3.5 rem. Let's save and see. Here we have this. Okay, so make its position relative and the margin top of minus 7 rem, like this. Now okay, so here we have this one. After this I am giving it the some content, the position absolute. Now they will be visible. You can see by giving the position absolute and relative to the png they are visible to us. After this make a display flex, align item center, justify content center, and the flex direction of column. Okay, now let's see. Now the flex box has a column direction. So this is the one div of icon and this is the other div of the email. After this I will say the width should be 100% of the parent png. and the margin top should be 4 rem. Let's see. Now there should be a gap between the email and the icon, so for this reason I am declaring a gap of 4 rem, and the color of email will be white. Let's see. Here we have. It's time to give some spacing between these icons. So for these icons I say F icons, and then giving them display flex and gap of 2 rem. Yeah, here we have. So our footer is ready, and you see how easily we have done it with a small png. Okay, and it's actually looking very nice. So this is the time to implement the dark mode in our portfolio. So I am going to the navbar section, and instead of writing toggle I will here make a button. So this is my navbar JSX. I am closing the footer and footer.css. Okay, so here instead of this pen I am making a toggle component. Okay, so we have to make this component. I am making a folder for this one with the name toggle, and inside this again I will have two files. So the first file will be the toggle.jsx, and the other file is toggle.css, like this. Now in the JSX write rafce and just import its CSS file. So I am importing toggle.css like this. Okay, so import this file here by auto importing like this one. Let's save and see. Here if I write I am the individual. Okay, so lux, just like this. So the text is changing, it means the component is working. It's time to make it like a button. So I am just removing this text and here making a div with the class of toggle. Okay, inside this I will have the two icons from the icon scout library. So first will be the sun, and I am importing it at the rate icon scout icons, and then in the icons I have UIL, and then I think so sun. Yeah, here is the sun. The first one is that, and similarly I am importing the moon. Okay, now I am going to use it inside the toggle. So first write the moon and then the sun, just like this. Let's see. Here we have both the moon and the sun. Okay, so after this I also want a button that toggle between these moons and sun. So just making a div with the name toggle button, just like this, and it will have nothing inside it. Okay, so this time to make it CSS. For the CSS, first of all, for the toggle class I will make it display flex and justify content space between. So by making them space between, the sun and moon will be on their left and right side of parent div. Okay, so after this I am giving it a border of 3 pixels solid, and its color will be our orange color, just like this. Here we have this. Okay, so we want some border radius around this and some padding. So let's do this. Makes it text little bigger, and its border radius should be 1 rem. This is basically a maximum value that it can attain, so it will be the maximally rounded, and this is what we want. After this I want its position to be relative, and a padding of 2 pixels will be okay. Last thing that I want, that the cursor should be pointer on this. Okay, so now it's time to change the color of the sun and the moon. Okay, so I am just writing toggle, and everything inside this means sun and the moon and this button. So everything will have width of 1 rem and the height of 1 rem and the color of our variable orange, just like this. Let's see. Here we have this one. You can see as we have made it a display flex and the height and width is 1 rem, so this empty space is basically our button. So let's fix this. Now I am targeting the button by T button, and for this I am giving a border radius of 100%. Okay, and after this I am giving a background of our color orange, just like this. Here we have this button, but this button should be either on the sun and over the moon. So to make this happen, I should make its position absolute. And now let's see. Here we have this design. So it's looking very cool, but now we have to add functionality in this. So for the functionality, I will make a file outside all of these folders, just like in the most parent directory. Okay, so just with the app.js I am making a file and naming it as context. So I will use the use context of the React for implementing dark and light mode. So first of all, let's import from React, and what I am going to import, it will be the create context. Okay, and the second one will be the use reducer hook. These are two the hooks along with the React. And after this I will export our theme context. So here just writing the theme context and then create the context. Okay, so basically create context class will make an object theme context. After this I will initiate my state. So I am making an initial state which will be the dark mode. So on the initial state it will be true. Let's say it will be true on the initial state. After this I will make my reducer. So here I will say at use reducer, and it will have two props. One will be the prop and other one will be the action. So make it a fat arrow function, then it will switch. Okay, so according to which it will be switch, it will be switch according to the type of the action. So here just write action dot type. Okay, so if the action dot type is equal to toggle, then what to do? Then here it will change the dark mode state. So dark mode will be state dot. If the dark mode has the true value, then it will be converted into false, and if the false, then it will be converted into the true. Okay, after this case I have to make a default case. So I say on the default just return our current state. So after this I have to export our provider, which is basically our theme provider. So I am exporting our theme provider, which will have some props, and again making it a fat arrow function, and it will have its two properties. First one will be the state and other one will be the dispatch. That is the part of any state management process. So then here I will use the use reducer hook, and first argument is the reducer, so it will use the theme reducer function that we have declared here, and after this it will have the state of initial state that we have initiated here. Okay, after this it will return theme provider component. So this provider will be made from theme context and then the provider. So what values this provider can take? So here I am writing the value from this. The first value it can take is the state, and the other one it can take is the dispatch. Okay, I will show how it is working. So then inside the provider it will have the props as its their children. Okay, so props dot children, and here should be a semicolon, here again should be a semicolon. So here our use reducer is giving an error. Let's see. Okay, first you can read its definition from here, that we use the reducer hook, which is preferable over the use state hook when there is very complex state logic. So as we have to deploy the dark and light mode on each component in our portfolio, therefore we are using use reducer instead of use state. Okay, it is giving error because here we have small t. If it's capital T, which is the recommended syntax, then it will be gone. Okay, now say after this I will go to the index.js, and here first of all I will import my theme provider. Okay, so theme provider, yeah, from context, just like this. After this I will enclose my whole app inside the theme provider. So theme provider, and then just wrap whole app here, and here should be a comma, and we can neglect it here. Let's format the code. Okay, you can see there is an error to import the context. Let's see why. Okay, here we have made the context.js outside the app.js directory, so I should move it here. Okay, so let's just move, now save, and let's see. Okay, the error is gone. It's time to implement it. Now I will go to the app.js, and here just above the return I will make a constant theme. Okay, so before declaring it properly I should import my theme context. So from context, my theme context. Okay, so here will be the theme context. You can see this here. This is our theme context that we are exporting and importing here. Okay, theme constant is a use context hook object. So use context will be passed down by theme context. Okay, so after this I will also make a value for the dark mode. So here I just write the dark mode, and it will be equal to theme.state.dark mode, like this. Okay, let's see whether we have any error or not. Okay, there is no error in our app. It is not crashed, means everything working fine. Now I will declare the style for my app. I will make its style, and inside this I will make its background here. If the dark mode have the true value, okay, so then it will be black, like this, and if it is not, then it will be white. And similarly the font color inside the app.js, if the dark mode is enabled, then it will be white, and whether it will be black, that is the default. Okay, so let's save and see. You can see our background is changed to the black and the text has been changed to the white. So our dark mode is working very perfectly. I know still we have to make some fixes in this div, and in this text we will do it manually by each component. So before going to this, let's make the functionality to move this button along the moon and the sun. So here inside the toggle.jsx I am opening toggle.jsx, and I am also importing my theme context here. So the theme context from the provider and the use context. Okay, so import the use context from the React. Then just above the return, the procedure will be same, where we have to do functionality according to the dark and light mode. Okay, so again make a use context, and context will use our theme context, just like this, and there will be a state which is the dark mode, and dark mode will be the theme dark mode. Okay, like this one. For the button I am declaring a style that if the dark mode is enabled, okay, so then it will be left side to the 2 pixels. So If the dark mode is enabled, then the button will be over the sun, and if it is disabled, then the button will be over the moon. Okay, so similarly, else the right will be 2 pixels. Just see that. Okay, so there was an error in our program that I have just corrected, that we have declared the style between the div instead of declaring it inside the div tag. So now I am fixing it, and here and now declare style for this T button. Here I will write this style, and this bracket should not be like this, and here I will say if the dark mode is enabled, then its left value should be 2 pixels. Okay, and if it is not, then it is to the right side 2 pixels, and these pixels should be inside the commas. So here, and if we have a look at toggle.css, then okay, let's see the results. Here we have the button on this side, and if I make it false, then see its behavior. Now the button is on the right side, and if I make it true, then button will be on the left side. So it is our required behavior. You can notice it. Okay, it's time to move it. Okay, so I will dispatch a function on click here. I will say on click, okay, on click make a request to the handle click function. I will declare the handle click function here as the const handle click, and it will be just simply a function, and what it will do, it will dispatch from our theme context a function. Just write that theme.dispatch, and its type will be toggle. As you remember, inside the context.js, we said if the type is toggle, then change the state of dark mode. So we are doing here. Okay, so let's save and see what happens. If I refresh the page, you can see it is changing. Okay, but I am having an error that the space is very limited. If I change the on click from here and write it here, let's save. And now if I click anywhere inside this div, it will change its color. Yeah, it's working fine. And I should change the default, which should be the false. So we have implemented our dark mode. awesome results here, our next task is to add animations. And now is the time for the animation, the part for which you probably waited the most. Okay, so for the animations here, I close the terminal and I am installing a very famous library, Framer Motion. So write yarn add Framer Motion. It will take some time. So here it is installed completely. Okay, just close the terminal and I am closing all this stuff here except the intro.jsx. And intro.jsx, I am importing a component from Framer Motion which is called motion, and here I write from Framer Motion just like this. Okay, before inserting the animation, first of all I want to make a transition. Okay, so for the transition I will just write the transition, and here I am declaring an object. For this I will have the duration of 2 seconds and every transition will be type of spring. Spring is basically a type of animation, you can Google it, that it delivers us the animations like the real physics. Okay, so after this, first of all we have to animate this emoji. Okay, because when we start the portfolio it should animate. Okay, so here I am going to right side of our intro.jsx, here it is, and here we have this class emoji. To initiate animations on this, here write motion.img. Okay, so after this, here we have to pass some parameters. These parameters are provided by the Framer Motion. All I will say, at the initial, when the screen is loaded, it should be on the left side around minus 36%. Okay, and when this emoji comes in view, so therefore I write wide in view, it should be animate to the almost minus 24%. And to apply this transition of duration 2 seconds and type spring, here I write simple the prop transition and its value equal to our transition variable that we have made here. Okay, so that's enough. That's just save, and here when I reload the page, you can see that this emoji is moving. Okay, so I'm going to implement the same effect for this floating div and also for this floating div. First of all, make it motion.div and then pass the props. So similar type of effect I am going to apply on these cards. But notice one thing, I will apply the animations on the parents of these cards, not on the cards. Okay, so here I will apply the animations. So here you can see I have applied the animations successfully. If I reload this website, you can see here all the animations are working fine. You probably have curiosity that how I have made this to move in a circle. You can see that. So for this explanation, if I go to the code here in verse.jsx, for the main circle I have applied the animations. First of all, I have said at the initial its rotation degree will be 45, and when it's coming to the view, then it will be erect or to the 0% degree. I have given it a viewport of minus 40 pixels, means after it comes to the view of 40 pixels, then it will rotate. Okay, so by doing so, we can have a clear view of its rotation. After this, I have given it a transition of 3.5 seconds and typed spring, and it results in such a view. You can see here. Okay, so let's move to the smooth scrolling. When I click on these section, the page should be moved towards the section. For example, if I click on the services, then the page should move towards this services section. So how I will do this, let's see. So to add the scrolling effect, I am installing another library. So here in the terminal, I am writing yarn add react scroll. Okay, It will take some time to install, depends on your internet connection. Here it is installed completely, so let's close the terminal. And I am importing a component of React Scroll, and this component is link from React Scroll. Okay, so then okay, and we should not do this here. This all work should be in the navbar section, because in the navbar we have to navigate. Okay, so where is our navbar? This is our navbar. Here I am importing this one link. After this, first of all, for our home section, okay, I am making a link, and then I say spy through. This is basically a prop. You just copy and paste this, and then to which section it should navigate. I say it should navigate to its own section, which is the navbar. Okay, and then I am giving it an active class attribute, which will be just equal to the active class. Okay, you can skip this attribute as you wish. Okay, then close this link tag like this, and here just format the code. And the last thing we should import here is the smooth scrolling effect. Okay, so here I say smooth is equal to true. Now just copy this link and paste on every li. And now is the time to give these specific IDs to each section in the component. For example, this link should be to the services component, so I will go to the services components here, and I'm just giving it an ID. Okay, so at the very parent component here, just write services. Let's save and now see the results. Here if I refresh this one and click on the services, then you can see that when I click on the services, it's going to the part. But there should be one fix, that there should be a cursor pointer. Okay, so I should make it in the navbar css, and then for the each item here, if I say the cursor pointer is enabled, but why it's now you can see that it's working fine. So we can achieve similar effect for the experience, portfolio, and testimonials. Let's make this. So it's the last part of the tutorial with respect to development, that we have to make it responsive for the mobile view. That if I go to the mobile view, you can see it's not looking perfect. So let's start from the app.css. Here if I go to the app.css, and at the very end I am making a media query, that at the media screen, and the maximum width of that media screen should be almost 480 pixels, like this. I will just copy this line because I have to repeat it again and again in many components. And then I say for the most parent class app, the padding will be 0.5 rem and 1 rem. Okay, now let's see. Here we have a more sensible padding for the mobile view. Now it's time to remove these navigations of home and services. So let's go to navbar.css. I am making the same media query, and here I say for the navbar list, the display should be none. Okay, let's see. Yeah, now it's making more sense because everything is in the center. So to fix this, I can also make the display none for this button, because we already have the similar button of hire me that are doing this same work. Okay, so I can remove this button. Here I will say n button display none. Okay, let's see. Now it's gone. Okay, it's time to fix the intro section. So I will go to the intro.css. Where is intro.css? Here, like this. Now inside this I will say, first of all, the intro should have the flex direction of column. Okay, and now let's see here. If I make it flex direction column, then these two things should be in the direction of column, but it's not applied. Let's see why. Okay, the I should be small here. Now let's see. Here you can see these are in the column direction. After this, I will say the right side of our intro section should be transform. Okay, transform and scale down. The right side should be scaled down around 8% of its original, and it should be have left property of minus 3 rem. Let's see. Here you can see now it has a relatively smaller size and the left side is correct. The only thing we have to do is to make the service section below this section. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to fix this. After this, I will say the right side blur. Okay, the right side blur should be display. I will make every blur display none for the mobile view. Let's see. Okay, now for the floating div, let me show that it's the correct spelling of floating div here that I have used in the intro cs intro dot. So because we don't have any floating div class, so let's make it. First I will just copy this one and then intro.jsx for the parent div of our floating divs. Here I will make it class name. Okay, so its class name will be this one, floating div, and similarly for the second one, just like. Okay, let's format the code. Okay, now save, and in the css I will say for the floating div of nth of type 1, its top value should be minus 7 rem and it's important. Okay, and it's already in the correct version. So let's fix these services versions. So let's fix the services part. I will go to the services.css. First of all, target the parent class of services. I will say its margin top should be 0, and then it should have the flex direction of column, and after this it should have a gap of 5 rem. Okay, it's enough for now. Let's see. Oh, there should be a semicolon. Okay, now see. Okay, there is no effect of doing this on the positioning, but you can clearly have an idea. Now we have these cards and their text in the column direction. Okay, now fix it more. First of all, I will give it a height of 66 rem like this and a padding of 0. Okay, and then after this I will say the cards of this section will have display flex and the flex direction of column and the gap of. Still we have no effect on their positioning, so the last thing we can do is I will say for the every element inside the card should have the position static. Now let's see. Okay, here you have a clear idea that everything is aligned for this section. After a lot of debugging, I just found that the error was we have not specified the height of our intro section. So here I have to specify the height of intro section, which should be 64 rem, and its cap should be 7 rem. Okay, so now let's see how pure it is. The only fix we have to do is to fix the card's position. Okay, so for this section I will go to the services, and in the services I probably assume that we have did everything, so I should go to the cards.css. Okay, so into the card.css, first of all at the media screen. So here I will say the card should have its width auto, just enough. Now let's see that, but it is not working on the second card. So I think that it's not working on the second card because of the second card has less amount of text and we have made its width auto. So just paste it. Now let's see. Okay, you can see we have to give some more text for the developer card and it is also fixed, and I think so that our this section is already fixed. Okay, so just move to the work section. So here the responsive version of our portfolio is also completed successfully, and it's time to deploy our website. So to deploy our website, just go to the terminal. Okay, after this, here write yarn build. Okay, so it will develop an optimized production build for us, and it definitely takes some time for this. Let's wait. Now after the complete build, just reveal this in the file explorer. Okay, and go to the Google here and write the netlify in the Google. You will have these results. Go to the first link and make a your new free account. I have already one, so I am logging in. After login, you will have such an interface. Okay, obviously the name of your starter will be changed as you wish, and now here you have the section to drag and drop your build version. So I just drag the build one from here and on the Google, just paste it. It will take around 2 minutes to deploy the complete website. So here you can see it's uploading all the assets and now it's deployed. You can check this, and here go to the preview. For the first time it will organize itself, and now you can see how cool is this. Okay, we have successfully deployed our website. So if you really think you have learned many new things from this website and from this tutorial, then please hit the subscribe button, also like and share. I just noticed that 92% of audience is still not subscribing my channel after watching the tutorial. It takes me a lot of effort to build such a long tutorial. So please support the channel. We will meet in some next tutorial. Till then, goodbye.